Welcome to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. Here's your host, Morgan Colby and Rick Lemon.
What's poppin', Fantasy Champs? Welcome to another edition of the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. My name is Morgan Colby. I got Rick Lemon with me as always.
What's up? What's up?
How we doing, my guy?
We doing good. How we doing over there?
I'm doing all right. I'm a little tired, a little exhausted.
A little tired.
Yeah, dude.
Don't blame me.
The winter months are dragging on here up in the Northeast.
That's how it's cold every day. Really cold,
yeah,
especially up here.
It's funny because you start eating more unhealthy to keep yourself warm.
Yep.
Yeah,
just in time for
people who live in warmer
once spring
climates,
comes around, gain 15 pounds.
People who live in warmer climates tend to be thinner, I think.
Interesting theory. I think that's probably true.
That's probably it might be true. But anyway, welcome to Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. We got AFC Championship, NFC Championship weekend coming at you to determine who's going to go to the Super Bowl this year. It should be interesting. I feel like we got two very, very strong underdogs and two very, 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 very strong.
I know.
Super Bowl.
Kind of stinks. I feel like
write the book.
How good this past weekend was. It's going to be hard to top that. I think rest of the season. Like I feel like this was the peak.
They really do need to get rid of the 7-team playoff thing, though, because then you would have had.
I think
you wouldn't have had Buffalo going to KC.
True. I think it's good for. I think they're going to do it one more year, and if we get like another Eagles Steelers as the 7th seed, they're gonna, because it would be different again. Like I've said before, like if it was Chargers, I feel like, or a team that has a little bit more. Even the Colts, I think, would have been better than the Steelers. The NFC though was kind of all crap. It would have either been them or the Vikings, or maybe the Falcons. So, but yeah, I think they'll give it one more year and see. But there's a good chance they might get rid of it.
Yeah, could happen. But anyway, I love Championship Week. It's fun.
Yeah.
Love Super Bowl week. I love everything related to football. This is literally my favorite sport. I watched the Brady documentary for all those years as memories.
It really is number one.
And,
I mean,
I shed some tears. I just love this freaking game.
Of course.
Wish I could win my home league though. Then I'll really cry, dude. I'd act like a big showboat and then go in a room and just go, freaking hey, I did
it. I know. It's crazy.
It'll never happen. But anyway, so yeah, today we're gonna bring you I guess part 2 of the mock draft that we started last week, where we projected out the first round of the 2022 drafts that you might see in August. And so for this one, we're going to go into the second round, and we're going to try to project out what we think might happen. Not might think. Think might.
Might think might. Sort of.
I know what I'm saying. But what we think might happen going into August in the second round, and some guys that might fly up boards. This is where things are going to get a little bit more risque.
Yes.
A little more interesting. Yes. We got to go do our research on rookies quickly because we got rookie mocks coming up too.
I know. I've started very basic to it. Today, actually, I was looking at a couple guys.
They got you just watching midnight and you're watching videos on.
Yeah, actually, too. Yeah, 1 a.m.
Yeah. But anyway, so we're going to give you that second round mock draft. Before we do, check our website, fantasychampions.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Just type our name in. You'll find us on all those platforms. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any other podcast platforms, be sure to leave a review or share this pod with your friends. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, like, and comment down below. Hate, love, questions, whatever you want. We'll highlight them on the show, live. With complete anger and rage.
Yeah. Why do you guys suck?
Yeah. I think it's funny. I love hate comments. Keeps you honest. Keeps you interesting. Some people stare at them. They're like, why would somebody say that about me? And I'm like, thanks. I'm doing my job.
Right. Exactly.
It's probably because this specific sports station we listen up to up here in the Northeast, and everyone hates them.
And they're super successful.
Yeah, dude. The more people who hate you, the more successful you are.
Yeah, Colin Cowherd, Skip Bayless, Stephen A.
Yeah. Yikes, dude. No, Stephen A is just a dink. So
Stephen A is just funny, I feel like.
Yeah, he's hilarious. Dude, he has this whole thing against the Cowboys, and it was because they had Skip Bayless.
Yeah.
Skip Bayless is a Cowboys fan, and he still kind of like tries to hold on to that, even though Bayless is gone. And it's like no one's rooting for the Cowboys. Like we.
Well, that's why they brought in Michael Irving.
Oh, because he's a Cowboys
guy. Yeah.
So anyway,
they can keep it going.
So be sure to comment. So let's jump into the first, I should say, it says first, second mock draft. Man, I was just
second round of our first.
I started these show notes last night, and I was just conked. Anyway, so the second round mock draft that we're gonna do, project out.
Yes.
Let's get started with that.
You have the first pick.
So to start, let's just go through what we had last episode, which was Jonathan Taylor 101, Derrick Henry 1-2, Christian McCaffrey 1-3, Najee 1-4, Dalvin Cook 1-5, Austin Eckler 1-6, Alvin Kamara 1-7, Cooper Kupp 1-8, Nick Chubb, Joe Mixon 1-9, 1-10, and then Jamar Chase and DeAndre Swift at 1-11, 1-12. So we're going to start here at 2-1. I guess it's my pick. That's what Rick informed me before the show.
Yeah, you're starting off.
I don't like that. Why do I got to start?
Well,
let's see.
It is what it is.
So there's a couple of different guys, and you can go in a couple of different routes. I do think that last year, when you looked at mock drafts at the end of the year, you saw a lot of running backs. It was running back, and I don't know if that's going to continue. What are we assuming? This is half PPR or PPR? I forgot.
I think this is half based on.
Okay, all right.
Our picks.
So there's a couple of different guys you could go with. I finished very high at the wide receiver position. And there's a couple of guys you could go with that finished high at the running back position on the season. I don't know. I don't know who I want. We'll go receiver. Let's go receiver.
Okay.
So tell me if I'm wrong or if I'm missing somebody. To me, it's between Justin Jefferson and Tyreek Hill.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably what I think Adams maybe, but we don't know where he's going. So,
and based on obviously Jefferson had a freaking incredible season, and I think that you see what's his name, Tyreek Hill. He's got a lot of name value involved.
Yes.
I do think, and there's some changes happening up there in Minnesota. Could be good, could be bad. I think that what you're going to end up seeing is Justin Jefferson go here.
Okay.
I think Justin Jefferson will end up being the 2-1.
I don't disagree with that, to be honest.
Because Hill is like really good.
It's close.
There is some it's like splitting hairs between Tyreek Hill and Justin Jefferson.
Yeah. We're on the same mindset here. I would have done Jefferson too, but it's a toss-up between the two guys, and I think I would take Tyreek Hill. I think probably 2-2 here, that's where I think he'd go. I don't see Tyreek Hill the way he's played every year, still with Mahomes. Like he's not going to fall much further than the 2-2 and a 12 team. And as the fourth receiver off the board, that's not bad.
Agreed.
So you're right back on the clock.
Oh, I'm sorry. You took Hill there.
Yeah, because I was with you. I think Jefferson and Hill.
I'm the one setting the picks. So I looked over and nothing happened, and I was like, "So you gonna make a pick, guy, or what?"
Yeah, no. I would take. I think Hill there as the fourth receiver off the board makes a lot of sense.
I just wasn't.
You could say Debo, and you could say Devonta Adams as receivers, but yeah.
So because of the moving parts this offseason, there is a lot of players that are of concern. You know what I mean? We've already taken the, I guess you would say, plethora of running backs that I would say are pretty... okay, my computer is frozen. Fantasy Pros, I have a note for you guys. Please make your program a little faster. I don't know if it's either my computer or your sorry butt website, but I can't move anywhere quickly. So anyway, that's just me ranting. So I think there's going to be a couple of guys at the running back position, because I do think at the end of August, when we're all drafting our teams, getting ready for the season, I don't know that there's going to be 4 wide receivers taken this high in a 12 team. Because last year there was like 3. And there's like Adams, I think, is going to get, you got Diggs in that conversation as well. Like there's some good wide receivers here that could go, but I do think we got to stick with these running backs. Okay. It's so hard. I have a gut pick that but I gotta wait because I don't know if it's gonna happen. I'm gonna have to say that, because you look at guys like, so just to go who's available, we got Zeke, we got Aaron Jones, Antonio Gibson, guys like Cam Akers.
Yep.
Fournette could be a 2nd or 3rd round pick because of how well he played this year. But so the question marks that you have around some of these guys like Aaron Jones, we don't know if he's gonna have Rodgers. Zeke, we don't know if he's going to even be the feature guy anymore. Like, he's still going to be the starting running back, but Zeke
feels like 3rd round to me, but I don't know.
I feel the same thing. And Leonard Fournette, who is a top 7 running back, might not have Tom Brady.
Fournette is an interesting one, because if he doesn't have Brady, no way. But if Brady comes back, he averaged 18 points per game this year in PPR. I think that would put him as the RB7.
So there's some really interesting running backs here in the 2nd round. And like I said, the strategy has been, you also have guys like James Conner who finished pretty high as well. So I don't know. And nothing's changing.
Nothing's going to change.
Arizona. So it's like, do people look at that and say, hey, I'm going to go get top 5 running back freaking James Conner? I don't know. That's the confusing part. I do think that there's going to be some guys that fall down the board, some guys that come up the board. And one of those guys is I think you got to take Zeke here.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Right. I know a lot of people are probably gonna. I'm backing out now. See, this is difficult. I can't spend this long on this pick. You know what? I'm gonna do Antonio Gibson.
Okay.
That's the next best player. He's a top 10 running back. I don't think Leonard Fournette and James Conner. Like Conner, I think is going to be a late 2nd round pick, and I think Leonard Fournette should be like late 3rd. I really don't want those guys in this round. And there's some guys that are going to be breaking out at the running back position who Rick
I'm not going to
but
right, of course, there's a couple guys.
But anyway, so I would take Gibson here. I think he's a top 10 running back. He had a decent season. I think he's a good secondary running back, especially like you look at Team 10, not that I'm drafting in that way. He has Joe Mixon and Antonio Gibson. Gives him a good secondary running back. I think that you're not drafting your RB1 at this point, so Gibson would be a good pick.
Yeah, I think it's interesting too here. Again, I think Fournette, the way he played, in just terms of points per game this year at the running back position, he was RB4. Wow. So if Brady comes back, there's no way to me I don't see him going in the 2nd round at some point. But that is a question. And then Aaron Jones as well. There's a question. There's a couple guys, like you said, James Conner. His situation's not going to change, but is he really like a 2nd round pick? I don't know. I think a guy who goes ahead of him, though, is Cam Akers, and that's who I would take here at the 2-4.
He did it.
We've seen that he hasn't played well, but especially this past week against the Bucks. Yeah. But he's been able to come back off the Achilles. Next year he's going to be 100% healthy.
I'm sweating.
Going to get the clear workload.
I thought I was too early because I honestly think he's going to end up like 2-3-2-2.
Yeah, I think so too. I was even debating 112, but I wouldn't go that far yet just because of the injury. And he hasn't ever really had he's never had a full season or even like 2/3 of a season of being a dominant running back.
Yeah.
So we have to see it, but he's done it in the playoffs. Obviously, this past week wasn't great for him, but he still had 20 carries or 20 touches. So he's going to do that every week next year if he's healthy. So Cam Akers 2-4, I think, is the spot.
There's so many different variables with some of these guys.
Yeah.
You also got Javonte.
A lot can change. Oh my gosh, I completely forgot about Javonte.
So
Williams.
I think we got to go Javonte Williams here.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because I don't know what's going to happen with Melvin Gordon. I really don't. There's a lot of quarterback movement projected this offseason. You got Jimmy G moving. You got Aaron Rodgers possibly moving. You got Russ moving. And so I think Denver's going to be in the QB conversation in a lot of different ways that doesn't involve a rookie. And I think that makes their offense better. I don't know what happens to Melvin Gordon. I couldn't tell you, but I think Javonte Williams is going to do enough to end up a second round pick here in the middle of the second. I could see him going anywhere from 210 all the way up to 25. I don't think he jumps Cam Akers. I don't think he jumps Antonio Gibson. I actually think 2.5 is probably the highest he'll go. But if Melvin Gordon's gone and they get a quarterback, then he could shoot up boards.
He'd be a first round pick.
He'd be a first round pick. So I think Javonte is there. There's other guys too at the running back position. I'll let Rick take his next pick, but yeah, Javonte here at 2.5 is probably what I would do. Yeah,
he's someone who he could definitely be lower than this, but he could also be higher depending on what happens this offseason. It's a good spot there. It's 2.6 now. It's tough. Again, running backs: Aaron Jones, Ezekiel Elliott still there, Leonard Fournette, James Conner, J.K. Dobbins as well is someone who I think would be considered in this spot. You could go back to receiver. Devonta Adams is still available. Deebo Samuel, people are going to be high on him this upcoming year, especially what he's doing in the playoffs too, is just amplifying it. Diggs is available still. We could also see a tight end go at this point. I don't think Mark Andrews had a good enough year, though, where you would put him this high.
I don't think a running back. I don't think a tight end is going to get drafted in the second round.
I don't either, but for us, it wouldn't. For us, it wouldn't. But, people took Kelsey in the 101 last year. So, I think I'm going to go Deebo here. Go back to another wide receiver.
I was wondering if you were gonna take Deebo before Devonta Adams.
Yeah, it's just I think the hype with him finishing as the wide receiver 2, what he's doing in the playoffs, the fact that he's kind of a fantasy cheat code because they use him in the running game and the passing game. Mm-hmm. He's kind of like McCaffrey but reversed. Instead of like a running back with elite receiving skills, he's a wide receiver with running back skills who gets 8 carries a game. So, and they use him in the backfield. And he gets used on dump offs. He has legit routes that they run for him, end arounds. They purposely try to get him the ball at least 15 times a game. He's a beast at the wide receiver position. So, and again, the hype for him is unreal.
Yeah, I would agree. I think right after that you have to go Devonta Adams.
Yeah.
It's falling down the board. Now I know there's some questions surrounding Devonta Adams, but I think no matter where he goes, assuming that the quarterback situation's figured out, which I think Adams would try to lock down, he still, I think, is a top 5 wide receiver in fantasy football. I don't think he's going to be the number 1 anymore. I don't think he's going to be top 3 anymore, but 5 to 7 definitely is the range where I would see Devonta Adams finishing. And I think that taking him at 2.7 would be, I would smash that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Remember, we're doing this based on what people think. So with Deebo Samuel, Devonta Adams very well could go before Deebo, and I think that might happen because of the name. But there are also people who just watch Deebo Samuel win them leagues, and they're going to get sweaty, and they're going to take Deebo way too high. So, I don't mind that pick at all, but yeah, I got to take Devonta Adams here.
Yeah, it's interesting. Someone who we haven't even brought up once, and I'm not going to take him, don't worry, but Saquon Barkley, man, the mighty have fallen. I think there's guys still ahead of him on this list. Mm-hmm. I will go back to the running back position here. I think you could make the argument for Aaron Jones at this point. Without Rodgers is the problem though. We don't really know with or without. If Rodgers comes back next year, I think Aaron Jones will be like a middle second round pick. But if Rodgers doesn't come back, he's probably not going in the first 2 rounds. And it'll be interesting to see how far he falls. Elliott's another guy. He's got the name, and he's still a good football player, but he only averaged 14 points a game.
He's still top 7 this year.
PPR. He finished top 7, but he played in all 18 games. When it comes to points per game, he finished, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. He was 16th among running backs in points per game, which is very low. So not as low as Barkley, but still low. But again, still a good player, still finishes the RB7, and someone who you can consider. I'm going to take J.K. Dobbins, though. Clean ACL injury. He doesn't have
Oops. I just accidentally clicked on
Jacobs.
Yeah. You cut out for a second. So what were you saying?
In this half PPR format, he doesn't have a lot of competition. He's, to me, guaranteed to get 200 plus carries. The team ran the ball over 500 times this year. Yes, Lamar gets over 100.
It's a terrible running attack.
Yeah, but he's good for like 250 carries.
Yeah.
I think. And yes, they're going to use Gus and Lamar is going to run, but Dobbins is going to be the main guy in that offense. I don't think Devonta Freeman comes back. Latavius Murray probably doesn't come back. And then Tyson Williams was the practice squad player, so I don't know if they even use him. I think Dobbins is going to be a true workhorse this year. And again, in ACL injury, you can come back from that. It happened in the preseason, so I think he'll be fine. He's going to have some hype around him as well.
Okay, making it difficult.
Giving you the choices.
Yeah, I think you got to go Zeke.
Gotta go Zeke. Yeah, that's fair.
The name recognition alone will probably get him in like where Javonte Williams is.
Back end of the second round.
Yeah, I think middle second round is probably where Elliott goes, and I mean if he ends up like he stays healthy, I've been waiting for the Elliott injury for a while, and that Chick-fil-A diet is just strong. So I don't know what he's doing, but he stays on the field. And I think that's valuable, especially as a second running back, and if you can get high end running back with the top 7, top 8 picks, and then you can get Ezekiel Elliott as your second guy. I mean, I'd be pretty good with that. I do get in more competitive leagues or in mock drafts with the fantasy community where people are falling. I do get seeing Elliott fall into that third round. I don't think it happens in 12 team. I think he goes 2-9, 2-10, maybe falls. Maybe even goes a little bit higher just because of the name recognition.
No, it's very understandable. This is hard. I want to say Aaron Jones at this point, but again, if Rodgers isn't there, I don't think this is a good spot for him. Mm-hmm. I think he would fall even further than this. But just the way he's finished, he's a receiving threat. I guess I'll go Aaron Jones here again. Okay. Because even if they don't bring in a quarterback or Aaron Rodgers isn't there, and they have to bring in a new quarterback or it's Jordan Love or whatever this situation is, he's still going to be used a lot. Again, especially in the passing game, which will give him fantasy relevance. Mm-hmm. And this is a guy who kind of like Javonte could go higher up boards. Again, if Aaron Rodgers is there, I could see him going in like the 2-4 to 2-7 range, maybe even higher, like 2-3 where Gibson went. But if Rodgers isn't there, like I said, he's not going in the first 2 rounds.
Okay, fair enough. I'm going to have to take with my next pick, and because you're last, I'm going to take Stefan Diggs.
Yeah,
you got to think about it, buddy. You got to think about it, my guy. Diggs was about 7 or 8 in PPR. I mean, not in PPR. He was about 7 or 8 in points per game with a qualifier of like 12 games. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, Yeah, he was like 8 or 9 in points per game. On the actual season, he ended up being wide receiver 7. Played in all 17 games. So I think this is where Diggs is going to end up in terms of where he's going to finish from here on out. 6 to 8 is probably where the range would be for Stefan Diggs, especially with the emergence in the postseason so far of Gabe Davis in the last 2 games, and really the last like 5 or 6 weeks. For some reason, Gabe Davis is now getting targeted by Josh Allen, and we'll see if that actually becomes a real trend. But as the 7th or 8th wide receiver off the board, Stefan Diggs, I think here at 211 is a perfect pick. I would love that all day. He averages about, I think it's, let's see, in half PPR, he averages roughly 13.5 points per game. 13.8, so basically 14 points per game, which is a wide receiver 1 all day and gets you the production that you need at the wide receiver position. So I would take Diggs here.
Very good pick. That's what I was going to take at 212 if he was there. So this, I'm not going to take him, but as just a guy who you could keep your eye on. I think if the 49ers backfield stays like the same, Elijah Mitchell is going to be in the conversation here. Probably 3rd round pick. Probably like middle 3rd round, maybe late 3rd round. I think so. Yeah. Which is if again, this situation's like if it's Elijah Mitchell and like Jeff Wilson next year, and all those guys. I think I'm not going to go here. I could see another receiver, a big name receiver who maybe just didn't perform that well this year. Go here like an AJ Brown. Maybe even Jalen Waddle, the way he played at the end of the second half of the season. DK Metcalf. Not taking those guys, but just saying names. Again, like Barkley, if the Giants get Russell Wilson, and I could see him getting hyped up back into like, the 2nd round mix. Yeah. But otherwise, he's going to not go in the first 2 rounds. I'm going to give you an option. Okay. And James Conner too. We did forget. I mean, not did forget, but we didn't mention James Conner yet. I think
early 3rd round is definitely where James
very
Conner
good. Yeah, I think
Cordero Patterson will go.
I don't think Patterson. I think Patterson.
I'm serious. Patterson's going to go in the 3rd and 4th round. People are stupid.
He kind of fell off at the last like 5 weeks of the season.
Yeah, because he sucks.
Right, and he's like 33 years old.
People don't look at the numbers, guy.
I do. Looking at like their PPR numbers. I know this is half PPR, so I guess I should do half.
Yeah.
Mark Andrews and Kelsey in the half PPR averaged 14 and 13 points per game.
Take a tight end.
So that would be in the same range as Tyreek Hill and Stefan Diggs, and all these guys. I think a tight end does sneak in here. And or you could even, Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen, the quarterback sliding in here, but I'm not going to go quarterback. Would you take Andrews or Kelsey? Never mind. Let me rephrase that. Not who you would take.
I think Kelsey's going to go.
Kelsey, then we'll do Kelsey.
Yeah, Kelsey is going to go there. Yeah, so I don't like it. I
don't either. I wouldn't, to be honest, at that spot, I would probably, who would I take? I don't know. I'd have to really think hard. It would probably be a running back though, or a receiver. I wouldn't take Travis Kelce.
Yeah. I agree.
Montgomery, we didn't even mention him. I don't think he'd go 2nd round.
Yeah, no, I don't think he's going 2nd round.
3rd round pick.
Yeah, perfect. There's a lot. I think there's going to be a lot of running backs that fall into that 3rd round that are going to be decent conversations. David Montgomery, Josh Jacobs, James
potentially
Conner.
Whoever the top rookie running back is probably as well slides into the 3rd round.
I'm going to be shocked if James Conner slides in the 2nd round. I really would. I'm like,
yeah, me too. I think he's the 3rd.
Yeah, and then Leonard Fournette, you also got if Brady ends up coming back and staying, he would stay in that 3rd round range too. So it's some good options in that 3rd round. But either way, there you have it. 2nd round mock draft: Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, Antonio Gibson, Cam Akers, Javonte Williams, Deebo Samuel, Devonta Adams, J.K. Dobbins, Ezekiel Elliott, Aaron Jones, Stefan Diggs, Travis Kelce. All those guys projected out. Come back, look at the show in August, see if we got it right, guys. Have a great night.
Take it easy.
Thank you for listening to the Fantasy Champions Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes and YouTube and follow us on Twitter @TheFFChamps.